It was just past 5 a.m. when I heard the sound of keys fumbling at the door. The faint smell of perfume and alcohol drifted in even before she entered. My wife, Sarah, stumbled inside, her heels in one hand and her phone clutched tightly in the other. I didn't say a word. I just watched. She froze for a second when she saw me sitting on the couch, fully awake. Her smile vanished instantly. "You're up early," she muttered, trying to sound casual. "I couldn't sleep," I replied calmly. My voice didn't shake, though my heart did. She looked nervous, avoiding my eyes as she walked straight to the kitchen, pretending to drink water. I could tell she was thinking of excuses. The truth was, I already knew everything. The night before, when she said she was meeting her old college friends for dinner, something felt off. She was distant the whole week, laughing at her phone, hiding messages, and acting defensive whenever I asked simple questions. So, last night, I decided not to call or text. Instead, I used the phone tracking app we both had installed years ago for safety. Her location showed a fancy hotel downtown, not the restaurant she mentioned. That was the moment my stomach dropped. I didn't call her. I didn't confront her. I just waited. As she walked past me that morning, I said quietly, "Rough night." She paused, her hand tightening around the glass. "Yeah, just long talks, too much wine," she said, forcing a small laugh. I nodded. "I'm sure it was." She finally looked at me, searching my face for a hint of what I knew. But my calmness scared her more than anger ever could. I stood up and handed her a small envelope. She frowned and slowly opened it. Inside were photos, screenshots of her location history, and one picture taken by a friend who happened to see her at the hotel lobby, not with friends, but with a man she had introduced to me months ago as her mentor. Her lips trembled, and the glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. "I can explain," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You don't need to," I said quietly. "The truth is already clear." Tears filled her eyes, but I didn't feel pity. Not yet. For months, I had tried to fix what was breaking between us. I asked her what was wrong, tried planning date nights, even took leave from work to spend time with her. But each time, she grew colder, more distracted. I blamed myself, thinking maybe I wasn't enough. But seeing those screenshots erased every self-doubt. She wasn't unhappy, she was unfaithful. She tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. "Don't," I said. "Last night, when you were out, I packed my things. I'll be gone by evening." She started crying harder, saying she'd made a mistake, that she didn't mean to hurt me, that it was just a stupid choice. But I'd heard those words before, from people who only regret being caught, not what they did. The silence stretched between us, heavy and final. I took one last look at her, the woman I once believed would never betray me, and said, "You made your choice when you walked into that hotel. I'm just following through with mine." I turned and walked out, leaving her standing in the middle of the living room, pale and shaking. Later that afternoon, when I came back to take the last of my things, she was still there, sitting on the couch with her wedding ring beside her, eyes red and distant. She tried to apologize again, but I didn't stay to listen. Sometimes silence says more than words ever could. A few weeks later, I moved into a smaller apartment, quiet but peaceful. Friends asked if I'd ever forgive her, if I'd take her back. I said no. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning to walk away from what destroys your peace. One day, she sent me a long message saying she had lost everything. Her job, her confidence, even the man she thought cared about her. She said she finally understood what she'd thrown away. I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. Months passed, and I began to rebuild my life, focusing on work, on peace, on self-respect. Then one morning, while checking emails, I found one from her with no subject line. It was just a single line, "You were right. Not every mistake deserves a second chance." That was the moment I realized, closure doesn't come from an apology. It comes from strength, from knowing you survived what was meant to break you. Now, every time dawn breaks and sunlight pours through my new apartment window, I remember that night she came home pale and trembling. That was the night I stopped begging for love and started choosing self-worth. Because sometimes the most painful endings are just disguised beginnings.